Save $1.30 on Purdue fresh chicken leg quarters, only $1.59 per pound. For a great snack, golden ripe pineapples, just $4.99 each. Crisco Original of butter shortening sticks, just $4.89 for a 20-ounce package. Dettol disinfectant spray, only $3.99 for a 400-milliliter tin. Select varieties of Tide Simply Liquid Laundry Detergent, only $7.49 for a 40-ounce bottle. Visit our website at www.marketplace.pm for more weekly specials.
You can count on us.
You're watching Bermuda Tonight. It's Wednesday, November the 28th. I'm Jasmine Patterson, and thanks for joining us. There will be no public register of sex offenders following the passing of the Criminal Code Sex Offender Management Amendment Act 2018 by the Upper House. Attorney General Kathy Lynn Simmons told Gary Moreno today there is good reason for that decision, as she explained the objectives of the new legislation.
That was never a consideration for the ministry.
Attorney General Kathy Lynn Simmons speaking there about the decision not to make the sex offenders register open to the public. According to the AG, among the reasons for taking that position is the threats to offenders from vigilante action, given the small size and close-knit nature of the residents of the island. What's more, research has shown that public sex offender registers, as exist in other jurisdictions, make it difficult to keep track of such individuals, as they tend to go underground, making it difficult to protect vulnerable individuals. That said, the AG assures that does not mean information on sex offenders being released will be some kind of state secret.
It depends on the offender and his level of risk and who is actually at risk. By him, we expect that we're going to protect our children. The victims, first and foremost, will be notified. If there are people in the immediate vicinity, such as schools, churches, etc., where, based on his profile, we feel we need to notify, we will do so accordingly.
Ms. Simmons explained the legislation provides the ability for authorities to more closely keep tabs on sex offenders upon their release. But what of those offenders who do not participate in rehabilitation programs and are sent back into the community upon the completion of their prison term?
In the past, there was no mandatory requirement for them to engage in programs, and they were in fact released. What we're fixing now is, even though they will be released, and in the event that they haven't participated in programs, and notwithstanding that we've amended the prison rules so that there will be penalties for that non-compliance, we will actually have them registered and we'll be able to better monitor them.
You anticipate any backlash as a result of the register not being made public?
I think the public has made their feelings known. I expect that we have given sufficient justification for not making it public at this time, and I'll reiterate that we do have a corrections facility that demands that we reintegrate and rehabilitate our offenders. So that's the focus.
The minister further clarified the thinking behind the decision.
The register will not be made public because, number one, I feel that we have sufficient enhancements and protections in our notification regime. And so, as I mentioned earlier in the chamber, when we received the psychologist report, the profile of the offender really determines the level of disclosure that's necessary, and you can trust and believe that I will be extremely vigilant in coordinating with the authorities and making sure that the appropriate notification is given.
At present, there are 12 sex offenders under active community-based supervision within the Department of Court Services, all of whom or have been involved in sex offender programs and or treatment based on their risk of reoffending as per the assessments utilized in the department. Those who have completed the programs and who remain under active supervision can be involved in more extensive maintenance work as deemed necessary to minimize the reoffending risks. 6 are actively enrolled in programs at present, inclusive of 1 voluntary client. 4 are fitted with electronic monitoring devices. Gary Moreno, reporting for the Bermuda Broadcasting News.
Police are on the hunt for 2 males suspected of carrying out an armed robbery at the Cocoa Reef Hotel early this morning. Officers responded to the incident at 2:24 a.m. in Paget after 2 males wearing helmets and brandishing bladed articles entered the hotel and made demands of cash. The 2 were given an undisclosed amount of money and they subsequently left the building. Police have launched an investigation into this matter and are following a number of lines of inquiry. Anyone who may have any information into this incident or anyone who saw 2 men in the area acting acting suspiciously between 1 and 2:30 a.m., you're encouraged to contact Acting Inspector Clifford Roberts on 295-0011 or the confidential Crime Stoppers hotline. That's 800-8477. And word tonight that the Ascendant Group is offering early retirement to all employees, including Belco staff. The offer is reportedly open to employees who age 55 years and with a minimum of 10 years service by the end of 2019. It's understood, though, that Ascendant and Belco will retain the option of deferring early retirement dates for workers who take up that offer. Sources telling Gary Moreno the information was contained in a letter sent out to staff and signed by Sean Durfee, the president and CEO of the Ascendant Group, which is, of course, the parent company of Belco. A situation which is said to be causing some angst as Mr. Durfee is no longer supposed to be involved in Belco's affairs. Information suggests the aim is to reduce staffing numbers by 80 individuals in using this method. Attempts to reach Mr. Durfee for comment have so far been unsuccessful. And despite assurances from Cosmic, the firm which took over handling of Ascendant's public relations after the company's PR staff were made redundant, that a statement was forthcoming, we still have not heard anything. And we'll have more for you after this short break, including all the latest weather news. Stay with us.
At Argus, our interest is you. Each of you. Around here, we know that when two people seem the same, they can have very different insurance needs. For their health, home, work, and future. Which is why we take the time to get to know you as an individual, so we can provide insurance coverage that fits your life. Because after all, our interest is you.
You can count on us.
All varieties of potatoes, $4.49 for a 5-pound bag, saving you $1.50. Boneless pork loin, sirloin chops, just $2.99 per pound. Grace coconut water, only $4.89 for a 1-liter box. Select varieties of Ocean Spray cranberry juice, $5.69 for a 64-ounce bottle. Sensible portion veggie chips, only $2.99 for a 5-ounce tin. All stores open Monday through Saturday, 7 a.m. until 10 p.m. and Sunday, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. for your shopping convenience.
You can count on us.
If you're looking for the cheapest, easiest way to bring your online shopping to Bermuda, choose U.S. Express at mailboxes.
I enjoy the service a lot. It's very fast.
U.S. Express is always on time, and they always call you to come get your goods on time.
The cashback, when you get enough deliveries, is really nice. It's an added bonus.
When you shop online, always use your mailbox's U.S. Express address in New Jersey to save money.
The year-end clearance sale is now on at Bermuda Motors. Cargo ships bringing our 2019 models will be arriving soon. To make room, we're offering the lowest prices of the year on these models. Ford Figo, our hatchback with cutting-edge technology. Ford EcoSport, big on comfort, safety, and power. Toyota Avenza, the perfect balance of style and function. Toyota Prius C, our fuel-efficient 5-door hybrid. So hurry, prices are available until the end of the year or while our inventory lasts at Bermuda Motors.
I'm Tony Waterman. Coming up on The Breakdown this week. A blaze of devastation in California, the deadliest wildfire in the state's history, is now 100% contained. As residents sift through the ashes, we'll examine Bermuda's exposure to the fire and what it means for investors who backed a first-of-its-kind catastrophe bond. Shop till you drop. Cyber Monday smashes all expectations, laying the groundwork for a record season for online shopping. We'll talk security risks. Plus, a picture-perfect spot for international clients. One photographer bringing global talent to Bermuda. That's on Thursday at 8 p.m. on ZBM TV 9.
Thanks for staying with us. Over 300 responses from the public have been received by the Regulatory Authority of Bermuda to complete the consultation period on a new integrated resource plan. 8 energy generation proposals have been submitted, including 2 bulk energy IRPs, a Belco plan, which involves a $120 million new capital investment to convert liquefied natural gas to electricity, and the Bermuda Better Energy Plan that suggests a system with 64% reliance on solar and wind power. There were concerns that the public consultation forum was not suitable to include everyone's input. However, the RA have kept to Friday's 5 p.m. deadline.
Well, the process for the IRP actually started a year ago. So it started in November when the RA of 2017, when the RA requested the proposal from Belco. And this is actually required under the Electricity Act, where the Belco, as the TDNR licensee, actually submits the first draft, essentially, of the IRP. So they've submitted that to the RA in February, and starting in May, there was a long consultation process that included town hall meetings, it included radio interviews, it included a flyer that got sent to every single Bermudian household, as well as there was 2.5 months of consultation on the IRP proposal, and then there was 2 months on these alternative proposals which were received. And actually, one of the things to clarify with that is that they're alternative proposals for bulk generation and supply side, not actually a request for alternative IRPs themselves. So it's been a long consultation process, and there's been a lot of publicity around it, and a lot of public engagement. And so the RA is actually very pleased with the process thus far. And so we don't feel that there's a need to extend it further because there's already been so much public engagement with it.
It could be another year before the RA will make a final decision.
Of the proposals actually started already, so it's an ongoing process. But once the consultation ends, obviously we'll be able to then analyze all of the public comments as well. And then it becomes an iterative process with the RA directing Belco on how it needs to change the final or the IRP proposal in order to create the final IRP. And so it's difficult to say exactly when it will end, because if we have to tell them what to do, and then they actually have to make the changes, and then if it's not quite where it needs to be, then further changes may need to be made. And so it will be sometime in 2019. So the way that the RA will analyze everything is that there will be various inputs into the process. And so the public comments are one of those inputs, as well as all the other analysis, government policy, finances, all of these things to come up with what is the best plan for Bermuda. And so public comments are definitely weighed, and one of the key things that we've noted from the comments that we've received thus far is that renewables is something that's very important to Bermudians, or at least the ones who have commented. And 3 of the proposals actually include renewable energy, and so that's some technologies that we'll be looking at in terms of potentials for inclusion in the IRP, as well as the other proposals as well.
Weather now, and there's a chance these high storm force winds will ease tonight down to gale force as gusts will continue tomorrow out of the west-northwest. Let's get to the full details from the AccuWeather headquarters.
AccuWeather is presented by BF&M Insurance Group. We now go to AccuWeather headquarters.
This AccuWeather forecast has been brought to us by our friends at the BF&M Insurance Group, and it has been a very windy and damp day. Gales have been blowing, really nasty, strong winds out there, at times near tropical storm force. And this front that is responsible for this unsettled weather, and unsettled is kind of an understatement, is moving east, and it's going to gradually relax its position, at least for our local map, as it moves farther east, and we'll begin to see things kind of subside. But until then, the winds are going to still be pretty active through the evening. The sun is setting on those clouds. Here you can see the frequent showers that we've had earlier in the day, and recently we've seen a drying trend return with just a few spotty sprinkles and lighter showers in the neighborhood. Temperatures are down in a big way. 65 degrees right now across the island. It's windy still. Winds from the west at around 30 knots. Humidity 60 to 65%. Water temps at 70 now. Well, on the inside, we have 2 to 5 foot waves. Take a look at this. 13 to 24 foot wave heights, especially large on the north and west side. That's where we find those 20 to 24 footers. It's a pretty nasty time. Obviously, terrible boating weather. A gale warning continues this evening. And then after that, we will see things transition to a small craft warning. Still not good boating weather. Still won't be quiet by any stretch, but the waves will begin to subside some. It'll still be a rough time Thursday and Friday with at least some very active wave heights, large waves. Low tide, 7:06 tonight. The tide comes back in 1:01 a.m. We have a high tide. Low tide again at 7:05 Thursday morning, and then a midday high tide at 1:29 p.m. on Thursday. So very windy tonight. We're no strangers to wind in Bermuda, but again, very windy weather continues. Partly cloudy with a passing shower or two. Lows around 61. Tomorrow, a cooler day, 68 with just a brief shower or two. Not nearly as wet as this morning and midday was. It will still be windy, though, and the waves will remain fairly large with a small craft warning in effect tomorrow after our gale warning comes to a conclusion. So here we are tonight. You'll notice the front, it is off to the east, but we still have some moisture in place and still a pretty active wind buffeting the west side of the island. And tomorrow midday, the showers pretty slim. They're way out to the east side of the front. Maybe a leftover sprinkle or shower. The bulk of the moisture in our part of the Atlantic will be generally to our north. The winds do remain active, and then here comes high pressure. And watch this. As this rolls in on Friday, approaching from the west, we will see things begin to quiet back down. Down into the Caribbean, scattered showers are out there in Jamaica, Barbados, and Trinidad. No tropical threats, but it is active with November-like weather here as that strong November front has pushed on through. Into Toronto, clouds. It's chilly still in New York and Boston. Atlanta's running very cool. Miami cooling down, 71 there. And we have showers into London. Our 5-day forecast, still breezy Thursday, still breezy Friday, just a little less windy as we get into Friday. Leftover showers, they'll be short-lived, not nearly as widespread as what we had earlier today, but leftover showers will be out there. The weekend looks nice, so we can look forward to that. And then Monday, the next system approaches with an increase in showers, but it will also get a little milder by then. We'll send it back to you.
AccuWeather was presented by BF&M Insurance Group.
This summer I was in Germany on holiday with my family, and on a whim one day my son and I joined a speed sliding competition. And as I came down the water slide, I went straight down in the pool and whacked my left foot on the bottom of the pool. And I looked down and I didn't see a foot. I just saw the bones sticking out and I started to feel faint. I was ambulanced to a hospital where I stayed for 11 days and had surgery. I had snapped all the ligaments on both sides of my ankle. And in the middle of all this stress and pain, we thought, how are we going to deal with health insurance? How will we pay for this? And I got a response from Allison at BF&M, and she said, your admission and surgery will be covered at 100%. I didn't have to put it on a credit card and deal with the reimbursement later. It made such a big difference to us. And for me, the BF&M difference is stress-free insurance when I really needed it.
Price Rate is your one-stop shop with something for everyone. Household goods for kitchen, bedroom, and bathroom. Aisles of bulk groceries at value prices. A complete selection of fresh meat and produce. And an extensive range of frozen items to cover every meal. Wines from around the world and beer and liquor at discount prices. Visit Price Right at our 2 locations in Pembroke and Warren. There's always something new and always something for everyone.
Treat yourself and your loved ones this Christmas at Diamonds International in Dockyard. Dazzling diamond rings, including this stunning ring creation from Crown of Light. And for men, iconic watches from Tag Heuer. During the holidays, there is 15 to 75% off all merchandise. And this watch as a free gift with every purchase. Plus 5% of all shopping proceeds will be donated to the LCCA charity. There is nothing comparable on the island to the truly outstanding collection at Diamonds International in Dockyard.
Fresh Breath Dental is more than a dental office. It's a community dental office with wheelchair access, scholarship opportunities, community day free extractions, plus savings opportunities with $25 off through BIU and BPSU and referral award, and an $80 teeth cleaning as part of our transitional program. Because we believe when the community benefits, we all benefit, as a healthy mouth is a healthier you. So don't delay. Call 433-6825 or email info@fbdl.bm to schedule your appointment today at Fresh Breath Dental in the Cedar Park Center, Hamilton.
Well, you may be surprised to know 1 in 5 children live with asthma in Bermuda, and many cases are uncontrolled, raising the risk of attacks or potentially death. That's according to asthma awareness charity Open Airways, which has teamed up with sponsors Argus and the BF&M to offer a free online course in prevention education. Asthma educator Tracy Nash says the course is designed to save lives. It's available free online to encourage people to learn the signs if a child is having an asthma attack. It's primarily aimed at those who work closely with children.
So that could be teachers, sports coaches, it can be anybody who's got, after school camp counsellors. So we're aimed at them to make sure that they know what to do, because they will all have children with them that have asthma in their care. Asthma being very common in Bermuda. About 1 in 5 children have asthma, so we want them to be protected.
There are up to 1,000 asthma-related deaths worldwide and are rare in Bermuda, but not unheard of. In fact, Open Airways says 5 people per day here visit the emergency department due to uncontrolled asthma. The course was created as a result of one family's tragedy by the loss of their 3-year-old son, George Collar, to an asthma attack.
We can only imagine that whatever happened when the attack happened, that people who were looking after him didn't know how to react, because his family have put together a foundation, and the foundation is ongoing, doing lots of things to help to educate the community about asthma, but they put together this course, and it's widely used in UK, and to make sure that whoever looks after the child with asthma knows how to react, so that nothing happens like that. So we don't want to wait for a tragedy in Bermuda. We feel very fortunate that the course has been adapted for us here in Bermuda.
And Bermuda's environment can be particularly problematic.
We have a lot of triggers here in Bermuda, particularly mold. And I mean, now at the moment, with all the rain that we've had, our mold count is going to go up in the next few days. And those are times that can be real triggers for people with asthma and allergies in Bermuda. So
they have they have the mold exposure, and then they catch a cold. Viruses are very common right now. So you get the two together, and then you raise the chance of having an asthma attack very much.
Along with education and prevention medications, together they say the community can come to terms with effective asthma management.
I had asthma all my life. It was extremely severe as a child because there was no preventative medication. Now nobody should suffer with asthma. There's wonderful medication now, but I was in and out of hospital, and I've been in intensive care 5 times with asthma, fighting for my life. So I know what it's like, and therefore that's why I'm so passionate about educating people and make sure we know, but particularly children, we need to know how to react.
This free asthma training module takes about 45 minutes to an hour to complete, and a certificate is presented at the end of the exercise.
Once they've ever done the course, they can access it at any time. If they think, now what was that? What was that? Which was the inhaler for this? Which was for that? They can go back at any time once they've accessed the course. So it's very, very good. They'll get a certificate too that, if you're a teacher or if you're like a healthcare professional, hopefully it will be able to use for your professional development, because people are encouraged to do so many hours a year. So that's a little bit of an incentive, but our incentive is we want everybody to take a role in being responsible to make sure our children are safe in Bermuda.
To take the free asthma training module, go online to www.openairways.com. So to come, sports news in just a few minutes.
Surface Trends has been serving Bermuda for over 25 years, supplying and installing tile and natural stone. We have a large in-stock selection of beautiful porcelain wood planking, including our exclusive Bermuda cedar tile. You will also find Bermuda's best in-stock selection of countertops, including natural granites, exotic quartzites, and silestone engineered quartz in all the newest colors. Our team will be happy to help you. Stop by our showroom at 17 Serpentine Road or give us a call at 295-8005.
Christmas in Bermuda is a special time for most of us. Unfortunately, for some families in Bermuda, there's no warm Christmas. This year, many families will be in need. It's the 30th anniversary of the Lions Clubs of Bermuda and the Marketplace, helping share the Christmas spirit, so let's help take care of each other. Shop at any Marketplace, shopping center, Modern Mart, or A1 stores, and purchase extra tins of non-perishable items. Once you have purchased these items, place your food donation into Santa's bin located at the front of the store. The Lions Clubs will collect your food contributions and assemble them into hampers to be delivered to the families in need around the island. Christmas comes once a year. Help make it a special time for every family in Bermuda. Sponsored in part by the Bermuda Broadcasting Company. Share the Christmas spirit.
At Argus, our interest is you. Each of you. Around here, we know that when 2 people seem the same, they can have very different insurance needs for their health, home, work, and future. Which is why we take the time to get to know you as an individual, so we can provide insurance coverage that fits your life. Because after all, our interest is you.
I'm Tony Waterman, coming up on The Breakdown this week. A blaze of devastation in California, the deadliest wildfire in the state's history, is now 100% contained. As residents sift through the ashes, we'll examine Bermuda's exposure to the fire and what it means for investors who backed a first-of-its-kind catastrophe bond. Shop till you drop. Cyber Monday smashes all expectations, laying the groundwork for a record season for online shopping. We'll talk security risks. Plus, a picture-perfect spot for international clients. One photographer bringing global talent to Bermuda. That's on Thursday at 8 p.m. on ZBM TV 9.
Turning over to sports, the first episode of Real Sports Talk Bermuda aired last night with 4 special guests expressing their views on several topics. Mike Sharp was the host and filed this report.
Bermuda has moved away from the glory days of sport in the 70s, and it appears we have lost our way, with the exception of a few sports and athletes. We asked the panelists, why is this an important topic now, instead of a few years ago?
No, why now? Why not now? I think that this is a topic that should be talked about on a regular basis, but we tend to shy away from it for whatever reason. We've had some recent successes that we need to continue to build on. We can look at what Philadelphia accomplished in triathlon. We can look at what our athletes, girls and boys, have done on the underage footballs and the under 15 tournaments, and the recent success of our senior football team, who just last week did something that many of us thought wasn't possible, and beating El Salvador. Mm-hmm. So, you know, it's about looking at what we can do, not only to celebrate those minor successes, but how we can continue to move forward and build on them. We've got 2 people at this table. Darren in 1985 with his team. We felt at that time, I was involved in some ways, and as a teacher at Sand Secondary, that was a time that we should have used that impetus to further develop our cricket. But what we do is that we have these successes, and then we have these low periods after we've had these successes, because there's never been a clear-cut plan on moving the way forward. Brian Wellman came back from 1995, gold medalist, indoor world record holder. I don't think that he's ever been celebrated, or the sport of track and field has been celebrated in the manner in which it should have been. And so we have these blips that should be built on, and we just let them go.
Better late than never. The sad thing is, I don't think the country is ever ready for a Flora Duffy or Nick Saunders or Troy Douglas, or people who, obviously I'm speaking about my sport, which I know. People who basically you open a statement, punch above their weight. So when these people come back, or even like a Clarence Hill, what do you do with them? We don't have a plan in place to incorporate these people into the schools or into the societies to influence the next generation. Every other country that I see has a world-class athlete in a particular discipline, and then you turn around years later, you have a whole bunch of them come from that country because they influence the next generation to see, hey, I know that person, I went to school with them, and they became world champion, or they became the best in the world, I could do that. Mm-hmm. And so you influence the next generation. The lulls, the frustrating thing for me is you have talent, but then I don't see the talent. I mean, you have somebody succeed on the highest level, but I don't see the influence of that. After those people have kind of made the path, we don't follow in behind it.
It's long overdue, and I think from the successes that we've had in the years, and one of the questions you have coming up is years ago we used to punch above our weight, and I think that we haven't committed and invested in sport as a country to really put the emphasis in developing infrastructure and developing these upcoming athletes, and then exposing them to world-class preparations in order to fulfill a lot of them. There is a massive amount of talent on this island. I've been told by coaches all over the world that they're amazed at the raw talent we have, and they wonder what happens when they go above 13 years old. Yeah. And
we
this is
so
what
many of them.
Yes, and this is where I think we have to capitalize and start to really hone in on that talent, and obviously put the commitment in financially, and structurally.
Everybody in Bermuda has heard that, Bermudians, 75% of us are overweight or obese. It's because we aren't moving anymore. And when we look at our kids, for me, frightening, one of the things in terms of Sport for All, and I chair the Sport for All committee for the Olympic Association, is that we know that this generation of children, and it's frightening for me as a parent as well, that this generation of children is the first generation of children that have a lifespan that is 5 years less than their parents. So, at a community level, at a school level, I think we really have to reevaluate what we do. I think we've done, made great strides on the academic side, but I think that we're letting the physical side, I think we're dropping the ball, and I think we're paying for it in many, many different ways.
And I'm Mike Sharp with Bermuda Broadcasting Sports.
Thanks for watching. Good night.
Jasmine Patterson's wardrobe and makeup is provided by Gibbons Company.
CBS Evening News this Wednesday. New details on how the president answered Robert Mueller's questions. 1 week after our Eye on America report, investigators seized documents from a Catholic archdiocese. And a study with revealing numbers on what women make compared to men. All that more beginning with the headlines in 60 seconds.
President Trump